Especially delighted to have all of these little children with us tonight. We want you to know that we want you here. We're so glad that you're here, and we hope that you will take note of this beautiful couple here. They're going to be married in the temple tomorrow, and we hope all of you little ones will look forward to the day when you'll be married in the temple. So we would like to begin, first of all, by singing Teach Me to Walk in the Light. And our daughter Lynette, Joseph's sister Lynette, is going to accompany us in Teach Me to Walk in the Light, after which Leslie's sister Corey will offer the opening prayer. So Teach Me to Walk in the Light, we all know that, don't we?
Oh, I guess we got one.
So page 304.
Father in heaven, we thank you that we could be able to join us families today and celebrate the upcoming wedding of Joseph and Leslie tomorrow. We're grateful for the blessings that you'll be able to have their sealed in the temple, and we're grateful for families, and we pray thy blessings to be with our loved ones who weren't able to be here with us, that they will know our hearts and thoughts are with them, and pray thy spirit to be with us, and we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
We have a thermostat in here. We can punch a button. It's a little warm. And I wonder if we could also look at our schedule and go over that. But maybe first of all, we could ask, I know that we've tried to meet each other, but could we ask Joseph and Leslie to just briefly introduce family members that are here? So, Joseph, do you want to introduce your family first, and then Leslie? Is that all right?
Okay.
Of course, my father, Corwin Lewis, and this is my mother, Lynette Lewis, and my oldest sister Esther will be flying in tomorrow, or excuse me, late tonight. And then next is LeGrand, LeGrand there. And then
tell where each one lives or that?
LaGranda's living in Dallas area of Texas. We have LaDawn. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Then LaDawn is in town here in the pink from Maryland, from Rockville area. And then Hiram next. He just stepped out. His lovely wife Sunny is here with their baby Mason. And they're in town from Casa Pacifica, California, where they go to USC.
Yeah, Redlands Arms, they changed it.
Okay. All right. And the next is Brinley with her husband Spencer. They're the Burton family. The next is Corwin here. He's with his son Tanner. And next is Berlin, who's the next in line to get married in the family. Next is Laura. The next one, they're both at BYU right now. The next is my brother Aaron, who's down from Oregon.
Raise your hand,
Aaron here.
Aaron.
Next to him, we have Whitney, also in town from Oregon. Then we have Logan, who is right over there. Lynette, next, who accompany us. And then Hunter, my youngest brother. And I think that does it for my family. Oh, I'm sorry. And I have two wonderful grandmas that are here. This is Grandma Lewis and Grandma Anderson.
And we went to college together, so we've known each other a long time.
Northern Arizona University. Dear friends for a long time. And Grandma Lewis is actually in town from Kingman, Arizona. Grandma Anderson lives here in Oregon.
All right. I'd like to introduce my oldest brother, Sean. He's here from Alaska with his wife, Tammy, and Mackenzie, and Thomas, and where are they? Hannah, right there. And then my oldest sister, Paige, and her husband, Adam, wasn't able to make it, but she's here with Max, and they also have another son, Nathaniel. Oh, he's over there. Okay. And then Tori is my next sister. Tori and her husband, Steve. They have Vanessa and Ethan, and she's expecting another one. Well, then we've got Lynn and Andy back there, and they've got three. They've got Christian right over here, Isaac, and Adeline, where she is. And then we've got Christy and Craig right over here with their daughter, Savannah. My parents weren't able to make it there on their mission in Ireland right now, and so they said they'd work extra hard today for us. And I've got another missionary, my little brother Devin, who's down in LA, so that's my family.
Thank you very much.
Seven.
Now we'll ask Lynette if she will, Mother Lynette, if she will go over the schedule for us.
Okay, well this is the first big event of the Family Home Evening, and we're so thrilled that all of us make it, except Esther, who's going to watch the videotape, and of course your wonderful parents who get to see the videotape. Okay, tomorrow morning I need our Lewis family to come help us to set up. We're going to set up some this evening too, if it's not too late afterwards, at 8:30. Those of you Lewis's that can come. And we will have the wedding breakfast from 10 to 12, and it will be in the Bayonne program, and it will be in the cultural hall. And hi. And we wanted for Leslie to have one of her siblings do a little tribute tomorrow too, and Lynn or whichever one you want to choose, and one of the siblings that would be Hiram. Okay, and then after that, we'll be traveling up to the Salt Lake Temple. We will need to be there by 3 o'clock to be in the temple. So we're trying to leave here. What did we write down? 1:45 to 2:45, travel to Salt Lake for the wedding. 3 o'clock be in the temple. And I assume afterwards we'll be taking pictures at the temple. So everyone stick around for group pictures. And then we will be traveling back down here for the reception. It goes from 7 to 9. And then we'll all help to clean it up.
In the park, the wind was just taking.
Oh. And we are so grateful for the Anderson family that has been working so hard to make the park beautiful. And Heavenly Father seems to be blessing us with wonderful weather. We're so thankful.
My sisters, they're gonna be our photographers, and they just wanted to let us know what to plan on for
We
the
just, tomorrow with, between the wedding and rush hour traffic and trying to get here in time for pictures, since me and Christy haven't ever done a wedding before, we don't really know what we're doing, so we're just gonna see if, and trying to get the big group picture, if afterward we can all make sure to kind of stay together so that as soon as we get a chance on the Salt Lake City, or Salt Lake Temple steps, we probably need that to be able to get everyone in the picture to have the layers. Everyone can kind of be congregated together so that as soon as we get a chance we can just hurry up on those steps and get a picture. So anyway, that's just our request, so that we'll have time to still get some of Leslie and Joseph before they need to start heading out to make sure they can get to the reception on time. So that's our request.
Thank you.
We have a musical number now. We want all of the Lewis family to come up here, and we're going to sing A Marvelous Work is About to Come Forth, accompanied by Brinley. So you have music.
Dedicated this marvelous work that's coming for this little family that's starting tomorrow.
Okay, girls on this side, boys on this side.
The boys on that side. We all turn it LaDonna has an injured knee and she can't walk very well, so I guess she'll sing with the boys up there. Well, you can stand right behind us.
I know.
Joy. Hey Sean, they're gonna have plenty of shots of the back of your head.
Okay, well, we appreciate the Christian family indulging us so we could sing together as a family. We now want to have the opportunity to say a little bit about Leslie and Joseph. And we're going to go around the room and ask each person to very briefly, as you can imagine, we need to keep it short, but we're going to ask each person to, who would like to give either a tribute or a memory, or what else did we say? A wedding wish. So either a brief tribute or a memory of Joseph or Leslie, or a wedding wish for them. So we're going to start with Spencer Burton. We'll just go around the room this way.
I'm grateful for this opportunity. My wish to the bride and groom to be is, as the surprises come on, as they of course do, those married couples will attest to that, I hope and wish that your surprises are all positive surprises and that you love each other more for the prizes. Surprises.
Okay. I talked about this in my tribute. Just one of my favorite memories with Joseph is this summer before my senior year, he helped pay for a flight for me to go out to DC and visit him, and I had so much fun, and it was just so neat to be with Joseph and get to know him better and to get to meet all of his friends. He took time out of work and out of everything to take me around to the different monuments and let me, hang out with him and his friends, and just what a neat, fun trip that was, and to spend time with him. And I just love Joseph, and I feel like through that trip I got to know him a little bit better, and just what an amazing guy he is. And it's fun because, Brenly always says that in our family the joke is that I'm Joseph's twin, and so I love that. I couldn't be happier to be twins with somebody that I hope to live up to that title someday. So anyway,
Yeah, you can just sit there. You don't have to sit.
I can go, I'll go. Lon asked us to write up some tribute to so we could give it to Joseph, and so I was sitting there and trying to think of different memories that I had with Joseph, and I just thought I'd share a few of them because it'll give you a look into his character if some of you don't know him quite as well. And I have a lot of fond memories of our childhood together, and I was telling Spencer the other day all the fun things we used to do as kids, and these are just a few of the ones that I was thinking about. I remember Joseph and I put on a penny carnival for the neighbors, and if I was planning the activities, I would always put Joseph in charge of the haunted house, because he always did a really good job of grossing everybody out. He loved tricks and games when he was a kid, and so I remember very vividly how he made a bottle of cherries seem like eyeballs, and for some reason that stuck with me. And then Joseph also started a kids club when we were little. And he was the chairman and CEO, of course, of the kids club. And his top bunk, we had triple bunk beds, and his top bunk was the meeting place for the club meetings. And he made sure that all of us had a role, so he had me be the newsletter writer. I was probably 5 or something, and I would write the newsletter. And he also had me help make up the song, and we had actions and everything, so that was fun. And I remember that Joseph could get me to do anything, and he was a really good entrepreneur from a young age, and I remember he would ride his dirt bike down to the Dairy Mart, which is a little candy store, convenience store, and he would buy penny candies, and then he would sell them to me for 3 cents or 5 cents. I think I was maybe his only customer, but I would do anything that he wanted. Another memory that reminded me of his great business sense was that he used to trade baseball cards a lot, and I still remember how I didn't know anything about baseball, and I didn't even like baseball, but somehow Joseph convinced me to trade all of my good cards for his bad cards. And probably the most triumphant one was when he had a card for Bob Brenly, who was the catcher for the Giants, and he told me, that I was named after him. So I was convinced that he was the best player ever, so I gave him some kid's card or something really good. I'm sure that was a ton of money. And I don't know, I had some other memories. Joseph was always in student government through high school, and I remember his best poster of his campaign years was, he had this huge banner, and he had this, just a big sign across, it said, Joe Knows, but N-O-S-E, and it had this huge nose. And he was just so clever, he was always just but I've always felt a really special kinship with Joseph because we were just a grade apart in high school or throughout our schooling years, and so we shared a lot of the same friends and got to do a lot of the dances together and things like that. And I remember when Joseph was in his car accident his senior year in high school, I was the one who answered the phone, and I can just remember how devastated I was to think that something had happened to this brother that I love so much. And I'm just so glad that he's with us today and has been such a light example to me all throughout our lives, and I love you very much, Joseph.
Well, I haven't written an elaborate tribute like Melanie, but I'll get to you later. But I would like to share a couple memories that I have of Joseph. Some of my earliest memories growing up was sharing the triple bunk bed in the boys' bedroom downstairs with Joseph and Corin. I guess this must have been shortly after we added on the upstairs, so LeGrand and Hiram were upstairs, and each night, one of my favorite times about staying in the boys' room with Corin and Joseph is Joseph would get out the flashlight that he had on his bed, and he would shine it on the opposite wall, because of course the lights were out. And he'd have this character that he called Beanie, which was represented by this light on the wall. And he'd bounce it around different objects along the wall, the paintings. And he'd come up with these elaborate stories about the adventures of Beanie. And it captured my 4-year-old imagination. That was a great memory. Of course, I think we had a computer desk in the room at that time, because even though Joseph was only 10, he'd had 2 paper routes for several years already, and saved up enough money to buy a computer and a computer desk, being the entrepreneur that he is. But another great memory that I have of Joseph is, I think when he was in middle school, he played tackle football, despite his size, as a 7th grader or so. But he'd come home, he'd bring his football pads home from school after practice. And CG and I just thought that was the coolest thing. So what he would do is, Joseph would play Corin and I in tackle football in the front line. It was him versus us two. And Corin would wear the pants and the pads down low, and I would wear the shoulder pads and the helmet. The two of us would take on Joseph in a game of tackle football in the front line. So Joseph has just always been one to make things fun for those people around him. If you get to know, everyone who knows Joseph knows that he just shares that fun. He's not content to have a good time for himself. He wants to share that with everyone.
Hunter. Do you have a wedding wish? Something you wish for them? Okay, you be thinking, Lynette.
My wedding wish for Joseph is that they'll not fail the fairy tale.
Okay, Hunter. What?
Lots of kids.
Mateo, Linda, next.
I have gotten to know Joseph more probably over the last few years than I have ever really remember having a relationship with him growing up, which is kind of sad, but it's kind of fun to these last few years to have gotten to know him better. But one memory I have is I have a friend that served in the same mission as Joseph, but went years earlier, and he went back to visit his mission. Joseph happened to be in one of the wards in the mission. And he always came back and shared with me what kind of missionary Joseph was and what love he had for the people and how much those people in Mexico loved him and how successful he was as a missionary because of his great love. And I've had people tell me before that Joseph is like this without guile. I think that's such a great attribute that he does have that, and I think it would be so great for your marriage, that kind of spirit that he has. And another thing I've been so impressed with Joseph is what a great missionary he is, even since his mission, that whatever he does on a flight anywhere, on business, or does anything, he's always got pass-along cards, he's got extra copies of the Book of Mormon. I mean, Heavenly Father sends people to sit next to Joseph on the plane because he knows that Joseph will share the gospel, and he's had some really neat experiences sharing the gospel because he's always prepared and he's always willing to share his testimony, and he expects to find people to share it with, and it's really inspiring to me. And I know too, it's all Joseph's had times where his life was in danger, and he has been spared, I think, more than one occasion. And I know that it's for a special purpose that he and Leslie were meant to be, and they are supposed to have a great family, and that they will have a great family. I think Joseph's really been, his life has been spared for a special purpose, and that he also is named after great men in our church and in history, and he was not going to be named Joseph, and Grandpa Anderson is the one that named Joseph, and I just think that's really special that he was the only one. Grandpa didn't try to change any of our names to anything else, but Joseph was the one that needed to be Joseph, and I think that's really special, and I think it's pretty neat that he has maintained that his whole life. He's always been Joseph, and some people try to call him Joe, but he always introduces himself as Joseph, and I just think he has great respect for his name, and the great people he named after him, because he's a great noble spirit. I love you, and I'm not going to hobble over.
Logan, let's go to the back and pick you up.
My wedding wish for them is that kids will be really, really cute. They'll walk awesome. And that
Well, I've gotten to know Joseph a little bit because he is right younger than Hiram. And they roomed together when Hiram and I were dating.
Joseph is a really, really, really good sport. And for an older brother, that means he's a really good guinea pig. But he would go along with all my silly little things. We published a magazine one time together. Really mentioned the candy stores. It wasn't just once. I mean, we did like 100. And they all failed, but that's okay because you can eat the inventory. And so it worked out okay. Perhaps the most problematic of Joseph's ventures was actually when he started, was when Dad was a bishop. We would go in after Dad was like seeing people out of the office or something, and Joseph would go in and start collecting some of Dad's stuff because he wanted to play bishop. And so we have all these confidential excommunication records. So fucking around with them. Dad had to confiscate up those stuff. We almost got excommunicated. But anyway, Joseph is a great sport. That's one thing I really love about him. And my wish for Joseph and Leslie is that in their marriage they might have appropriate silence.
That's not Daddy. That's not Daddy. That is not Daddy.
Joseph being the older brother, I tend to be Joseph. Joseph is higher up. So we have lots of good memories and doing crazy stuff, but I mean, as you guys can all realize, Joseph is a man of many talents. I was always very impressed growing up. It's kind of interesting being married and trying to have your wife get to know different people. You get to describe them to her. And one of the things I remember about Joseph is he was always been a businessman, like you're talking about. Like Roland said, he had his own computer desk. Our parents didn't buy this for him. He bought it with his own money. He bought his own computer. I think he had like stocks in several different companies. He was like 12 or 11. He set up all these different mutual funds, all these things. And we would all be reading the comics and things, and Joseph would be there, studying Wall Street. And just had a very good mind for those kind of things. Also extremely creative. Half of the games we had in our closet, we would pick apart, and Joseph would create new games out of them. So we never had any complete games because Joseph would make new games. We had stuff where he'd come by Monopoly, Risk, and all the dice, and I mean, Joseph probably created 6 or 7 games that I'm pretty sure could have made it in the market. they were really fun for our 10-year-old, 11-year-old. It was a lot of fun, but Joseph was extremely creative, and so being a younger brother, it was a lot of fun to be under Joseph because I always got reaped the benefits of his creative mind and entrepreneurship and initiative and those kind of things. But and then the last thing, Joseph is extremely conscientious of people. I've always been very impressed. Joseph is very good about making sure whenever he comes into town to get everything together and not forget people. Thank you notes for every little thing. Just extremely grateful and is a great example of how to treat other people. And is never unkind or looks down on other people. He's always just very, very positive and always very, very impressive. My wedding wish to you guys, and Leslie also. Leslie's been so nice. I think you guys are great. You guys are so nice with people. Leslie babysat for us. She only knows a couple of weeks or whatever.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
Her baby. And we had total confidence, you know, she just did a great job. Came back and he wanted to stay with her. But my wedding wish for you guys is to always just do what I'm sure you will do anyways, but to keep in contact with your friends and be great about writing those thank you notes and just, I think a lot of times you get married and you kind of fall off the face of the planet and no one ever hears from you again, but just remember to stay in contact with your friends and have those relationships.
Sarge.
You don't have to stand up.
All right, I had a chance on the airplane to provide my tribute to Joseph, and when you have a close relationship with someone, there are kind of defining moments in that relationship, and I remember kind of one of the most defining moments of my relationship with Joseph when he went from being a little brother and somebody I only thought of as little brother to someone that I respected and loved. Happened when I was working for the summer in Alabama, and my dad called me and said, your brother Joseph has been in a really serious car accident, and there's a possibility that he may not live or ever walk again. And I had to start thinking about what Joseph meant to me as a brother.
And I started thinking about, how sad for Joseph, how sad for our family if he were to pass away, but I realized how sad for the world it would be to not have somebody like Joseph. And I started kind of categorizing or listing all of the wonderful qualities that I admired about Joseph, and his unfailing righteousness and desire to do good, his athletic ability, his friendliness, his family loyalty, his intelligence, his endearing absent-mindedness. A lot of things that I really admired about him. Well, a couple of weeks later, I actually had a chance to talk to Joseph after kind of the crisis period was over, and he was in the hospital, and he was really drugged up. I remember talking to him, and the only thing he could talk about were elephants and his plan of escape from the hospital. And I thought, well, is he going to always be like this? And fortunately, that passed, and later that year, I was able to spend a lot more time with Joseph when he went to BYU as a freshman, and Tara and I were newlyweds. And Joseph, being the family loyal person that he was, he always wanted to come spend time with us. I mean, he had lots of his freshman friends and had a lot of fun things to do. He'd come out and hang out with the boring married folks. We would study math together and watch football together and eat a lot of food. And without fail, he would always leave something in our house. And Tarek started thinking it was on purpose because she would usually like make him some food or something like that, and he'd turn his backpack or his coat, whatever it would be, but he'd always leave something. And his friendliness is another thing that I really admire. Others have talked about how he's never scared to talk to people. He has a self-confidence that allows him to just go up and talk to strangers and tell them about the gospel. He also is an excellent listener. And so it endears himself to people very quickly because he's genuinely interested in what they have to say. And that makes him a wonderful missionary and a wonderful friend. And when he told me how he met Leslie, that they had actually met in a grocery store, and that's something Joseph and I actually have in common. First time I saw my wife was in a grocery store. Unfortunately, I chickened out and didn't talk to her, and I got a second chance. But Joseph, of course, had no qualms with the courage and self-confidence that he has to introduce himself. So I'm very grateful for Joseph. He's been an inspiration and an example to me in many ways, and I love him very much. And my wedding wish to both of you, I guess I have two. The first is that you will always take time to travel and have fun together. And my second is, Leslie, I imagine you've driven with Joseph already and to get good car insurance.
If it's all right to break things up a little bit, we'll ask Joseph and Leslie to present a couple of musical numbers for us now. So Leslie, if you would favor us with your violin solo of Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. And then Joseph, your guitar and vocal solo, I Will, after that. All right.
like you guys, I'd much rather listen to Leslie. But she requested, this was a song that I played for her early on in our courtship. And so she requested that I play this song tonight. Who knows how long I've loved you? You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. For if I ever saw you, I couldn't catch your name, but it never really mattered. I will always be the same. Love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. Love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And if at last I found you, your song will fill the air. Sing loud so I can hear you. Hold you saying dear you to me. That's how you know I will.
Okay, I guess we're back to you, Paige.
I hope I make sense. I feel kind of scatterbrained. Mom's not here to do the wedding stuff. We're kind of stressed on that. But I just wanted to say a few things about Leslie. When she was the little, well, she is the littlest daughter in the family, but when she was little, I think she was the prettiest little girl of the family. She just kept getting killed. But I just love to carry her around, you know, and finally my mom made an announcement to us that Leslie was spoiled and we needed to stop giving in to everything she wanted and carrying her, and, you know.
You guys never told me about that.
So we, all had to stop spoiling her, and she really outgrew it. She's just, she wasn't even bad. She just was going through a 2-year-old stage. But she, I just admire Leslie so much. I want to be like Leslie when I grow up. And she's got the talent in the music that I always wanted but never paid the price to have. And she's, I finally kind of got to know her better since I'm the oldest and she's the youngest of the girls. I didn't get to know her so well growing up because I just didn't pay attention. But when I came home from my mission, she was the one still at home, and she kind of helped me through my post-mission phase, helped me buy new clothes that were in style. And it was fun because she now had similar interests, and I just really got to know her about that time in my life. And, I'm just so thrilled that she and Joseph are getting married. My first impression of Joseph was when she and Pete came over for dinner at our house in Ogden, I don't know, a month ago? Yeah. I have this little concern that, I sensed she liked me a lot. But I thought, okay, be open-minded, but I kind of thought maybe he might be this overly self-confident guy with, who's kind of cocky attitude, but when I met him, that just wasn't the way he was. He just had kind of a dignity to him and a quiet confidence and humility too. And, when the evening was over, I realized that we spent a lot of the time talking about me, and I didn't really get to know Joseph. Wasn't one to talk about himself a whole lot, even though we got to know him enough to be very happy that Leslie and
serve missions besides your kids? Tori served missions also?
Well, I won't say much other than to say that I've been impressed with Leslie's perseverance. She's gone through a few things in her life that she's had to persevere through. But recently, since she's been living with us, I know that she's been trying to get on top of her schooling, and I've been just impressed to see how she'll really put in what it takes to get the job done and to do well. And it's something that's important to her. She'll work hard at it. That's something I've been impressed at. And for Joseph, I knew that he's going to be all right, brother-in-law, because I found out that he liked raising Arizona. So he'll be all right. Yeah, Arizona. But I just wish you guys the best, and I won't say any more than that.
Okay, Vanessa wants to turn to say something.
All right.
She said this is for Leslie and Joseph.
Really well.
Because they gave me my...
That's what she likes about them. They gave her hugs. She likes that they gave her hugs. Are you not done? Are you done? Okay. What else? Okay. She's done. So, something I admire about Leslie is that she has a really great memory of our childhood. And she always is like helping me, reminding me, because I can't believe how many things you tell me that I don't remember at all. So because of that, I can't really think of any memories. But I do remember like what Paige was saying. I remember you being like having so many tantrums when you were little, and how Dad would just send you to your room to cry it out, so we didn't have to listen. But then I don't know how old you were. It seemed like you were like 5 or 6, but you just like changed. It was a fast change. It was notable. We were all like, wow, she's like totally different now. You just got so sweet, and you stayed that way ever since. It's been wonderful. And I have appreciated how thoughtful you are. Like, the times I've been able to spend with you since like we've been away from home, I like the past month, Leslie and Joseph offered to watch our kids every Friday night so we could go out, and I just thought that was amazingly thoughtful and insightful for people who don't have kids to give us a chance to go out like that, and we haven't done that frequently since we didn't have kids. Anyway, I guess my wish is that I hope that you guys will stay in touch with us. I appreciate the influence you've been on our kids, and we enjoy having you around.
I got to kind of know her in her high school years, and then as she went off to college, and that was a real treat to see the maturing, and not that a lot needed to take place, because I always have felt she's been a little mature for her age. And anyway, it's been fun being up there with her mom and dad being gone. Now we've become kind of the middle people to what's happening here, and so as people have been finding out in Alaska about Leslie getting married, I wish I had a nickel for all the wonderful things that they have said about you, and she's had such an influence on many, many people in Alaska, and the love for her is great there. And when I think about Leslie, I just think of just the words that come to mind are just kind and loving and just thoroughly good. Just a very strong spirit, and the love and thoughtfulness she has for other people is just impressive. And she's had a powerful influence on our children, them being able to be around her a lot when we were up there. They love her, and they love her violin. Whenever we see pictures of violins, they instantly talk about Aunt Leslie. So anyway, we just love her, and I've told so many people, I thought, whoever ends up marrying Leslie is the luckiest man on earth, because she's just a sweetheart. So anyway, I don't really have any marital advice or anything, but I just know you're going to do great.
Thanks, Tammy. I missed a couple hugs over here.
Well, I was the oldest, and I do remember Leslie going through that stage very vividly, and I was worried that this is the sister that's unreal. But she did. She clicked right out of it. She's been an angel ever since. I remember one time looking through a book of Michelangelo's. My parents are very big on the arts. My dad especially has a love for good music, and he would really have loved to have heard that song that you sang. It was very good. And I was looking through there, and I saw a famous sculpture of sculpting of the Pieta of Mary holding Jesus after he had been taken off the cross. And I remember looking at that and just wonder of how amazing that piece of art was. Especially, I remember talking about it with my father, where Mary's hand is underneath his shoulder, and it looks like someone like the fingers going into someone's flesh. It is that good. And I thought how much I would love to be able to go back and to see that original piece of marble, and to see the artist Michelangelo look over that piece of marble, and where does he strike that piece of rock first? And how is it that he carved out that piece of work? I would love to have seen that. I would love to have been able to go back in time and see how he did that. I can just, because all I do is I stare at that thing and wonder how he possibly could have. Leslie, as you can see, is a musician. She's also a scholar. But most of all, she is an artist, and she is carving out her greatest piece of work as her own character. Through her faith and patience, she is carving out a marvelous piece of work that we are all already emulating. To give you an example, I worked at a place called, it was a medical institute as an accountant up there. And I remember I had a fellow employee come up to me, and her name was Kathy, and she said, "I cannot believe it. You see, my mother was there visiting because she had a problem with her neck, and she was having some work done. And she said, I could not believe your sister." Of course, I was interested to hear the rest of the story. And she said, as your mother went in to see the doctor, a lady came in. She was to have a procedure done. Well, come to find out that she was only a few minutes early, but we had several offices, and she came to the wrong office, and that doctor was going to be in a different office. She had to have the procedure done, and yet our doctors had a strict policy. If you're not there, they are booked, and she's going to have to wait to have the procedure done. Apparently, Leslie overheard that and just instantly said, I'll take you there. And Kathy could not believe it. She's never seen anybody do that, apparently, in her life. She was so astounded. She said, not only is your sister as beautiful as an angel, she acts like one too. Which I said, well, you realize you're talking about the family rebel. But she was very impressed. We have all been very impressed. And if I had a wish and the opportunity to be able to go back in time, and if it was a chance to be able to go back and see Michelangelo carve that sculpture, or to be able to go back, and while I was on my mission and in college, if I could go back and just watch you growing up during those years that I missed, I would choose you every day of the week, because there is so much that I could learn, that I would love to know, that I could apply to my family and to raising my children. I love you so much, and I'd like to think that my example had anything to do with it, but I know I wasn't there enough to be able to make much of an impression. My wish to you is that you will love each other enough to put each other first in all things. That whatever you think about, you're thinking of your spouse. And if you do that, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful life together. If you just do that.